350,000 Americans sleep in their vehicles tonight. That number grows every year. Not because people are getting poorer, but because they did the math. A paid-off van at $300 a month versus an apartment at $2,000 a month, building zero equity. Over 10 years, the difference between those two paths is roughly $200,000 in your pocket versus $200,000 in a landlord's pocket. The Americans who have been doing this for years have figured out things the rest of the country has no idea about. They know how to sleep through 20-degree nights without waking up once. They know the one type of parking spot that exists in every American city where nobody will ever bother them. They know a $40 trick that makes security patrols and property managers drive right past without a second glance. And they know why the most common way to stay warm on a cold night is the same thing that kills people every winter. 10 things they know, 5 mistakes that put newcomers in real danger. This is the operating manual. Number 1, they cover only the back windows, never the front windshield. Every beginner guide on the internet says, cover every window in your van. The Americans who actually live in vehicles full time know the opposite. A fully blacked out windshield announces from a block away that someone is sleeping inside. It is the single fastest way to draw attention. Empty work vans and contractor vehicles never cover their windshields. Real workers leave the cab visible because there is nothing in the cab worth hiding. The setup the experienced ones use is a partition behind the front seats, a blackout curtain on a tension rod, or a permanent panel built from foam board and dark fabric mounted on the back of the driver and passenger headrests. From the outside, the cab of the van looks completely normal. Anybody glancing through the front glass sees 2 empty seats, a steering wheel, and a clean dashboard. Behind the partition, the cargo area is fully blacked out and completely private. People who use this setup report going years without a single knock on the window. People who cover the windshield get asked to move along every other week. But staying invisible through the glass is only half the equation. Where you park the van matters just as much. Number 2, they park among other vehicles, never alone in the corner of the lot. Beginners make this mistake constantly. They pull into a Walmart parking lot at midnight and park as far from other cars as possible, thinking isolation equals privacy. It is exactly the opposite. A lone van in the dark corner of an empty lot draws the eye of every security guard, police patrol, and tow truck driver that passes through. A van parked in a cluster of 15 other vehicles is invisible. The principle is camouflage by herd. Park where other vehicles park. If the lot has a row of cars near the entrance, join that row. If there is a cluster near the 24-hour pharmacy, park in the cluster. Your van becomes one of many. Anybody scanning the lot looks for outliers, and the outlier is always the vehicle sitting alone in the corner. And if you pull into a lot and there are 0 other vehicles parked, leave. An empty lot is not a privacy opportunity. It is a spotlight. Blending in keeps you undisturbed, but surviving a cold night starts underneath you, not above you. Number 3, they insulate the van floor before doing anything else. Most newcomers spend their first dollar on curtains or a mattress pad. The experienced ones start with the floor. The metal chassis of a van sitting in a parking lot in January becomes a giant heat sink that pulls warmth out of everything above it. You can have the best sleeping bag in the world and still wake up freezing if the floor beneath you is bare metal, radiating cold into the cargo area all night. The standard setup is a layer of closed-cell foam board cut to fit the cargo floor, then a layer of reflective radiant barrier on top of that, then a sheet of thin plywood or rubber matting as the finished surface. The whole project costs under $60 in materials from any home improvement store and takes a single afternoon to install. You do not need a shop. You do not need special tools. A utility knife, a tape measure, and a few hours of daylight are all it takes. The difference is dramatic. An insulated floor can raise the overnight temperature inside the cargo area by 10 to 15 degrees compared to bare metal. That is the difference between sleeping through the night and waking up shivering at 3 in the morning. The floor keeps the cold from pulling heat out of your body. The next technique keeps the cold from pulling heat out of your clothes. Number 4, they put tomorrow's clothes inside the sleeping bag the night before. This sounds minor until you have tried pulling on a pair of jeans at 5 in the morning that have been sitting on a passenger seat in a van at 20 degrees all night. The fabric feels like sheet metal. It is one of the most physically miserable ways to start a day, and it is completely avoidable. Your sleeping bag traps your body heat through the night. Clothes inside the bag absorb that warmth and stay at roughly 98 degrees. Clothes outside the bag drop to whatever the temperature is inside the van. The fix is to picky out everything you plan to wear in the morning, fold it and tuck it inside the sleeping bag before you close your eyes. Socks, underwear, jeans, shirt, and especially boots if they fit. Boots usually go in a second layer just below the sleeping bag where they still catch some warmth. Add a small heated water bottle inside the bag at bedtime for extra thermal mass. By morning, the sleeping bag hands you a complete pre-warmed outfit. That takes care of the mornings. But the vehicle you choose matters more than any single technique you use inside it. Number 5, they drive older, mechanically simple vehicles. Vehicle-dwelling Americans almost universally choose older vans, typically from before 2005. The reasons are purely practical. Older vans have fewer electronic systems that break. They are cheaper to repair. They can be fixed by any independent mechanic with a basic set of tools. A Ford E-Series van from the 1990s can be repaired in a parking lot with a socket set and a YouTube tutorial. A modern van often requires dealer-only diagnostic computers and expensive software subscriptions just to change a sensor. The sweet spot is the Ford E-Series from the 1990s, the Chevy Express or GMC Savannah from the same era, or the Dodge Ram van from before 2003. Parts are everywhere. Every junkyard in America has them. They have been on the road long enough that every common failure point is documented in forums and YouTube repair videos, and there are no built-in cellular modems quietly selling your location data to advertising companies and insurance brokers, which is something most vehicles built after 2015 now do by default. The trade-off is fuel economy. Older vans burn more gas. But for somebody who values data privacy, repair simplicity, and a lower upfront cost, the older platform is the honest answer. A reliable older van and a warm sleeping setup go a long way, but the single cheapest trick that keeps you from getting bothered costs about $40. Number 6, they keep contractor gear visible in the cab at all times. 2 hard hats from any hardware store, 2 fluorescent high-visibility safety vests draped over the seats, a clipboard with paperwork on the dashboard, a coffee thermos in the cup holder, work gloves on the passenger seat, a tape measure clipped to the door handle. From the outside, the van tells a complete story. This is a working contractor's vehicle, parked overnight before tomorrow's job site opens at 6 in the morning. No further questions. Property managers do not bother contractor vans. Security patrols drive right past. The attention goes to the vehicles that look out of place, the ones without a story. This setup takes 10 seconds to arrange and costs less than a single night in a motel. Vehicle-dwelling Americans who use this technique consistently report going years without anyone asking them to move along. Years. It is the highest return investment in this entire list. If you are finding this useful, hit subscribe. I cover this kind of content every week. Now, the contractor gear keeps you unbothered in any parking lot, but there is one type of parking spot in this country where you barely need it at all. Number 7, they use hospital parking garages as their safest overnight spots. Hospital parking garages are open 24 hours a day. They have security cameras, which means theft risk drops close to zero. They have constant foot traffic from nurses, doctors, and visitors at all hours. And every single night, there are 30 or 40 real patient family members sleeping in their cars in the same garage, waiting out a loved one's overnight stay. A van with covered rear windows parked on an upper level looks exactly like one more worried family member. Nobody gives it a second glance. Hospital staff almost never enforce parking time limits on overnight visitors because real families are doing this exact thing every night of the week. Most hospital garages charge for daytime entry and are free overnight, which means you can leave by 6 in the morning without paying anything. In larger cities like Houston, Phoenix, Atlanta, and Los Angeles, hospital garages are full of vehicle dwellers every single night. It is the closest seeing to a guaranteed safe parking spot in any urban area in America. Hospital garages solve the overnight problem. But the rest of the day brings its own challenges, and the next habit handles 3 of the biggest ones at once. Number 8, they keep a gym membership active year-round. A national gym chain membership costs between $10 and $25 a month and solves 3 of the biggest daily problems in vehicle living at once. Showers, clean bathrooms, and a heated indoor space you can walk into at any hour. Most 24-hour gym locations will let you use the locker room, the showers, the restrooms, and the lobby area without anyone questioning how long you have been there. On the coldest nights of the year, when the temperature drops into single digits and the sleeping bag setup is not enough, a 24-hour gym becomes an emergency warming station. Walk in at 4 in the morning, take a long hot shower, sit in the lobby for an hour, and wait out the worst of the cold. The cost of a gym membership over 12 months is roughly the same as a single emergency room visit for hypothermia. It is one of the best investments any vehicle dweller can make. Now, I put together a free guide called the Veteran's Blueprint that goes deeper than what I can cover in a video. The specific overnight parking locations by city, the complete gear checklist with model numbers and prices, the seasonal migration routes broken down month by month. If you want the full picture, grab it from the link in the description. It is free. Number 9. They keep a packed go bag within arm's reach at all times. Every experienced vehicle dweller sleeps with a small bag already packed and positioned between the front seats or clipped to the partition. Inside is a phone, a wallet, identification, a flashlight, a bottle of water, and a spare key. The logic is simple. If something goes wrong in the middle of the night, whether it is a tow truck hooking your vehicle, a confrontation with a stranger, or a medical emergency, you need to be able to grab one bag and move in under 30 seconds. Not 60 seconds, not 5 minutes rummaging through the back of the van in the dark. 30 seconds. Everything critical to your identity and survival fits in a single drawstring bag that weighs about 2 pounds. Some people add a prepaid phone card, a change of socks, and $50 in cash as a backup. The bag sits in the same spot every single night, so your hand can find it without thinking. The people who figure this out early sleep better because they know exactly where everything is. The people who scatter their valuables across the van learn the hard way when something goes missing, or when they need to leave fast and cannot find their wallet in the dark at 2 in the morning. That go bag keeps you ready for anything on any single night, but the smartest vehicle dwellers think bigger than tonight. They plan for the whole season. Number 10, they drive south for the winter instead of fighting the cold. If you live in a vehicle in a northern state and November is coming, the smart move is to drive 300 to 500 miles south. The fuel costs roughly $100 one way. The trip takes a day. The payoff is 3 to 5 months of mild weather instead of 3 to 5 months of fighting a propane heater and worrying about frozen pipes and icy parking lots. The specific destinations the experienced ones rotate through are Quartzsite, Arizona, which fills with snowbirds and vehicle dwellers every winter and offers free long-term Bureau of Land Management camping, the boondocking spots along the Texas Gulf Coast, the fishing towns of North Florida, the Sonoran Desert south of Tucson. In every one of these areas, the daytime temperature stays above 60 degrees through most of January. That land is free for 14 days at a time. And the community of other vehicle dwellers means safety in numbers. The cost of driving south is less than the cost of one emergency room visit for hypothermia or carbon monoxide poisoning. The experienced ones do not even debate it. They leave by mid-November. They come back in April, and many of them end up parking next to the same people in the same desert year after year, which builds exactly the kind of community that makes the lifestyle feel less like survival and more like a decision. Those are the 10 things. But the mistakes are where the real danger lives. And mistake number 2 is the one that kills people every single winter. Mistake number 1. Parking where you can be blocked in. The rule is simple. Always have 2 ways out. Always pull through a parking spot so you can drive forward to leave. Never back into a corner. Never park in a dead-end alley. Never park in a row where another vehicle can pull up tight behind your bumper and trap you until morning. The danger is not theoretical. Tow trucks block vehicles in deliberately before hooking them up. A drunk driver can park 3 inches off your rear bumper at 2 in the morning and sit there until sunrise. In some cities, aggressive panhandlers will trap vehicles in corners on purpose because a stuck driver is an easy target. The difference between a 30-second exit and being stuck for hours is whether you parked with a clear forward path. Scout every spot before you commit. Walk the perimeter if you need to. Identify 2 routes out. If one gets blocked, can you still leave through the other? If both could be cut off, find a different spot. End of a row. Near an exit driveway, away from walls. If you can pull forward, accelerate, and be on a public street within 15 seconds, you pick the right spot. That rule keeps you mobile. But the next mistake is not about convenience. It is about staying alive. Mistake number 2, running the engine all night to stay warm. This is the one that kills people. Idling the engine to run the cabin heater seems like common sense on a cold night. It is also a slow carbon monoxide poisoning. A sleeping driver, a running engine, a small exhaust leak somewhere under the chassis, and carbon monoxide accumulates inside the cab until the heart stops. These deaths rarely make the news because they get classified as accidental. The bodies are found in parking lots, in pull-offs along rural highways, in the far corners of big box store lots. The alternatives exist, and they are cheap. A portable propane heater with a built-in oxygen depletion sensor costs about $80 and runs 8 to 10 hours on a single small propane cylinder. A diesel parking heater properly installed with an exterior exhaust vent costs between $200 and $400 and provides forced air heat for 15 hours per gallon. A heated electric blanket plugged into a deep cycle marine battery costs $60 and warms your body directly without warming the air. And a $20 carbon monoxide detector mounted inside the cabin should be treated as non-negotiable. Test it every month. It will save your life eventually. Those alternatives keep you warm without the risk, but there is one habit floating around van life forums that puts everything you own in danger. Mistake number 3, leaving your keys in the ignition while you sleep. This advice shows up constantly online. Leave your keys in the ignition so you can start the engine and drive away fast if something happens. The advice is wrong. Leaving keys in the ignition means that if somebody breaks the driver's side window while you are asleep, they have everything they need to drive away with your van, your tools, your laptop, your phone charger, and whatever cash you have stashed inside. The correct setup is a thin paracord wrist lanyard with a quick release clip about 10 inches long with your ignition key attached. You sleep with the key physically on your wrist. If you need to start the engine in 20 seconds, you can. If somebody breaks in, they cannot drive away because the key is around your wrist and you are sitting up the moment the glass shatters. Your phone, your wallet, and your ID go under the same pillow or in the go bag right next to you. Everything that needs to leave with you in an emergency is already on your body before your eyes close. Some experienced dwellers also keep a second spare key hidden somewhere on the exterior of the vehicle, a magnetic box under the frame, in case the primary key is lost during an emergency exit. Keys on your body, valuables within reach. That handles the human threats, but the cold itself has a pattern that catches newcomers off guard every winter, and it hits at the same hour every time. Mistake number 4, having no plan for the coldest hour before sunrise. The coldest point of any night is the hour just before sunrise, usually between 4 and 5 in the morning. The temperature inside a parked van drops to its coldest point during this window. More vehicle dwellers run into serious trouble during this single hour than any other. The first-line defense is over-preparing the sleeping setup so the cold hour passes while you are still asleep. A 0-degree rated sleeping bag, even when the forecast says 25 degrees. A wool blanket layered on top. A heated water bottle inside the bag. Tomorrow's clothes inside the bag for extra thermal mass. The combined system holds enough warmth that you sleep straight through the worst of the night without waking up. The second tactic is parking strategically so the sunrise hits your van as early as possible. East-facing parking spots without trees or buildings blocking the morning sun warm the interior 30 to 45 minutes earlier than west-facing spots. In winter, that temperature difference at 6 in the morning can be 20 degrees. Find the east-facing spots in advance. Use them through the cold months. The third option is for the absolute worst nights, below 10 degrees when nothing else is enough. Sleep from 10 at night to 4 in the morning. Then drive to a 24-hour gas station, a truck stop, or an all-night diner. Sit inside the heated building for an hour or two. Wait out the worst of it. Go back to the van after sunrise. It is not a daily habit. It is an emergency tool for the 3 or 4 nights of winter when the cold is genuinely dangerous. Those 3 strategies handle the cold hour, but the last mistake is the most common one beginners make, and it is also the easiest to fix. Mistake number 5, giving yourself away with interior lights, fogged windows, or cooking smells. A parked van on a residential street at midnight with no interior light looks like every other parked vehicle on the block. The same van with a single dome light glowing through the windshield looks like exactly what it is. Disable the dome light entirely by pulling the bulb or taping over the door switch. If you need light inside the cargo area after dark, use a small red headlamp set to the lowest brightness and aim downward. Red light does not carry the same distance as white light through glass. Condensation is the second giveaway. A van parked overnight in cold weather with clear windows looks unoccupied. The same van with every window fogged up by morning tells anyone walking past that a warm body has been breathing inside all night. A single sleeping adult exhales roughly 1 liter of water vapor over 8 hours. With no ventilation, that moisture coats every pane of glass in the vehicle. The fix is cross ventilation. Crack 2 windows on opposite sides of the vehicle by 1/4 inch. Add a rain deflector or a small roof vent so moisture escapes without letting rain in. Even at 20 degrees outside, moving air prevents condensation entirely. The third tell is cooking. Hot food smells travel hundreds of feet at night when the air is still. A van that smells like fried bacon at 6 in the morning announces to every neighbor on the street that somebody is living inside it. Cook outside when possible, using a small propane camp stove on a folding table next to the van. When weather forces you indoors, ventilate aggressively and eat cold food on the nights when staying invisible matters more than eating hot. 350,000 Americans live in their vehicles full-time right now. That number keeps growing because the rent system is broken, and a growing number of working-class Americans have decided they are done paying into it. The 10 insights and 5 mistakes in this video come from the people who have been making that choice for years. They figured all of this out the hard way, over thousands of nights, in parking lots and hospital garages and desert campsites across the country. The shelter intake clerk does not teach you the windshield rule. The DMV does not mention the wrist lanyard. Nobody posts a guide on the wall of the Walmart parking lot. The information lives in the heads of the people who have done it, and it only spreads when somebody who learned it passes it to somebody who has not. This video is that handoff. If you have been doing this for years and you have a tip that should be in the next video, put it in the comments. The next one gets built from what shows up there. And if this is the kind of content you want to see more of, subscribe. I publish every week. 10 things they know, 5 mistakes to avoid, 1 quiet night.